what are some questions that we have? So we covered a lot of different ground. We didn't get into some of the exercise supplements like creatine and so forth. So I know Kenny wanted to know a little bit more about creatine. Who's familiar with creatine? Anybody heard of it? Anybody know what it does, what it doesn't do? Creatine is a popular nutritional supplement, mostly in the athletic populations, in the bodybuilding, physique type communities. But it does have benefit for the general population as well. Creatine is a natural substance that our bodies carry within muscle cells. We typically have a very low level of creatine in our body at any one time. Creatine supplements help increase and supersaturate your muscles with this substance. What it allows you to do from a performance standpoint is that you can withstand higher intensity workouts much longer than you would otherwise. So it's applicable more towards, say, a sprint type workout from a cardiac standpoint, interval training, or from a resistance training standpoint. You're going to see the most benefit in those. If you're a distance athlete, triathlete, marathon runners, things like that, it doesn't have as much crossover to the endurance aspects for long term, but the short term endurance to high intensity activities. Again, a sprinter, a football player, a baseball player that has those high intensity bursts for short durations, they're going to see the greatest benefit. From, again, general health standpoint, males, females alike benefit from creatine in several ways. Number one, it does help boost lean mass building capability and boost the ability to lose fat mass because of the ways that it interacts in the body. Because you can maintain a higher intensity workout longer, if you're interval training, guess what? It's going to be more efficacious for you in terms of reversing things like insulin resistance or stimulating fat loss as a result of being able to push yourself harder before having to rest because you're tired. So those are some of the benefits of creatine. There are several different strategies in terms of using creatine. The popular method is to go through a heavy loading phase for a week time, 25 to 30 grams per day. That's a whole lot of creatine. And then you go to a maintenance dose, 5 grams per day thereafter. Research really shows that you don't necessarily have to go through the loading phase. In fact, it's probably better that you don't. There's less stress on the kidneys, on the liver. So 3 to 5 grams per day, closer to 3 for most females, closer to 5 for most males, is all that's really required to see the benefit. It takes a little bit longer to get that front end benefit because you're not loading, but overall it's better on the body in terms of not putting some of those organs on as much stress. So creatine comes in capsule forms, powder forms, sometimes it's already included in some protein supplements, and in combination with several other things. Any questions about creatine? Go ahead.
I have teenage boys.
Yes.
And, they all talk about it, and so, there was all the rage, everybody was doing it, but I thought I read something that it wasn't safe for teenagers, so I said, no.
Typically, yeah, we try and restrict adolescents from using too much in the neighborhood of anything outside of, say, a protein powder supplement, just because, again, their bodies are in the process of development, and there's really been no long-term studies to look at any potential long-term effects for an adolescent ingesting something like a creatine. The other thing, too, is that there are a lot of, not a lot, there's a small minority that are non-responders to creatine, because they naturally already store a higher volume of creatine in their muscles. About 20% of people are going to take the supplement and see no additional benefit because their body already carries a high level on average, and they can't carry any more in their system with the supplement. So, and a lot of times we see that in teenage athletes. So, but that's a great question. Yeah.
And no was a good answer.
And no is a great answer. You can tell them I said so. Well, Coach Paul said.